going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Welcome to the Kaged Review, and I got a couple of movies from 2019, the end of the year, that I still have to catch up on. One being Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, the other being 1917. I'm going to do both of those reviews right now. For Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, most people that want to see it have seen it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with this, and I'm just going to kind of do non-spoiler in the front, spoiler in the back. I'll let you know when the spoilers start, just in case there's like the one or two or three people that haven't seen it yet, don't want anything spoiled. Probably already has been anyway. But Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker has been a very maligned movie, just heavily hated on. Do I think it's justified? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. And here's my explanation for that. I think that they had to try to undo a lot of what The Last Jedi did. The Last Jedi, I think, was the worst movie in the series by far. And I feel like that there was a lot of damage control that they had to do with this movie. And J.J. Abrams, he was really stuck between a rock and a hard place with this. He did amazingly well with the first iteration of the new trilogy. And I felt like this was a decent movie. Like, if you went into this not being a hardcore Star Wars fan, or, you know, really didn't care about the mythos as much as other people, then it's going to be a fine movie for you. It's got a lot of special effects for you. It's got a couple of heartstring moments, although even a couple of those are questionable. There were some things that I definitely wish they had done differently. And right off the bat, I think how they started the movie was really awkward for me. And like I said, I'll save that for the spoiler part here in just a minute. But yeah, there were a couple of things that just really did not make sense and did not work for me. So, as far as the acting goes, honestly, it was fine. I felt like everybody did as good as they could have with what they were given. Adam Driver, who I've got a very big respect for now as an actor, he was fine. I mean, nothing in this movie blew me away as far as performances went. But they served their purpose, which is kind of a sad statement within itself, but that's just kind of the way it was. There were some beautiful shots. Some of the cinematography was absolutely amazing. But I don't know that anything... Like I said, if you go into this movie and turn your brain off, it was fine. If you're trying to get a rational story, you're missing out. You're really going to find some flaws with this, that's for sure. So I guess I'm going to quit talking in circles, and I'm just going to get right into the spoiler talk, and we'll get into this, and we'll kind of figure out this mess. So right away, Palpatine, the biggest re-entry to the series really to date, and there was no re-entry. Like, he was just there. You get some opening dialogue that talks about Palpatine being heard. And so he's already back. He's already involved in this stuff. It was very a lackluster re-entry into the series. Honestly, it really was. Princess Leia is here, even though I thought she died in the last movie. What do I know? So yeah, Leia, even though I thought she was dead, is here, and there's no explanation for that. There's a space version of Indiana Jones begins a search to find this artifact. It's like this Sith guide. Apparently the Sith has their own like planet that is a Sith community or something like that. And this is where Palpatine is. You find this out at the beginning of the movie because Kylo Ren is searching for this movie and then finds Palpatine. And through the conversation with Palpatine and Kylo Ren, you find out some things. The major thing that you find out is that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter. She's not just a nobody like they led you to believe in The Last Jedi, which is good. I'm really glad. And this is what I'm talking about with damage control. They just made Rey a nobody in The Last Jedi. Like she was just some average person who could control the Force and was this powerful Jedi. Made no sense whatsoever. Like none. So at least here, they gave her a legitimate backstory. She's Palpatine's granddaughter, being trained by Jedi. She's obviously super powerful. And like throughout this entire movie, she was pretty OP. Like she was just overpowering as hell. There's a spot where Kylo Ren is trying to turn Rey to the dark side. Rey is trying to save Kylo Ren, turn him back to the good side. And they, of course, have this big fight that you kind of saw in the previews on this like ship that's on these crazy, incredible waves. And Princess Leia sacrifices herself to reach out to Kylo Ren. Even though even that didn't really make a whole lot of sense because she reaches Kylo Ren, sacrifices her own life just in time to see Rey stab him in the torso with a lightsaber. So it was kind of like that was Leia's big out. Again, very lackluster as far as that goes. And then Rey, through Kylo Ren, sees Princess Leia, sees that she sacrificed herself, decides to save Kylo Ren for some reason. There was a lot of back and forth, like they would do something and then do something else to take it back. And we'll get into some more of that here in a few. So after that, Kylo Ren has this like vision of Han Solo, his father, and they're having a conversation. And it's kind of the transition from Kylo Ren back to Ben Solo. And Kylo Ren says, I know what I need to do, but I don't know if I have the strength. And it was kind of the exact verbiage that they used when Ben Solo made the transition to Kylo Ren. So I thought that was kind of cool. After that, there was a point where Rey is like really frustrated with everything that's happening. She can't find Palpatine. It looks like the Empire is coming back. And she's just fed up with everything, and she grabs a lightsaber and goes to throw it into a fire, which is caught by Luke Skywalker's ghost. Who knew? I'll be honest, man, there were some cheesy moments there. So Luke Skywalker gives her the big pep talk, says that, she is all of the Jedi combined into one, gives her this lightsaber that was Princess Leia's, who Leia turns out to be a really badass Jedi and one of the people who helped train Luke Skywalker and is training Rey, and none of that made a damn bit of sense. You finally get the Emperor, Kylo Ren, and Rey facing off. This was awkward at best. So Palpatine, Senator Palpatine, starts taking the life force from Rey and from Ben Solo. He kind of force pushes Ben Solo down this like crater. And so the big face-off now is Rey and the Emperor. And the Emperor says, I am all of the Sith combined. And then Rey says, I am all the Jedi combined, pulls out two lightsabers. One that has been blocking a lightning attack from the Emperor. And she basically throws it back at the Emperor, his own lightning attack. It destroys him. It destroys the Sith throne behind him. And like basically destroys the entire Sith. Is kind of what they're going for there. That energy almost kills Rey. Ben Solo crawls out of the crater, sees that Rey is dying, sacrifices his life to save hers, and that was where they left it off, man. It was really jerky at the end, honestly. And then the big finale is Rey Rey Palpatine, as we know now. She's on this planet. This lady's asking who she is, and she says Rey sees the ghost of Luke and Princess Leia and says Skywalker. And so that is supposed to be the Rise of Skywalker. Really did not like some of the stuff they did there. They had some very cool action sequences. It really kept your attention as far as that goes, but the story just fell apart. And part of the reason for that is what they did with The Last Jedi. Like all the groundwork that J.J. Abrams did in the first part of this trilogy was undone in the second part of the trilogy, and so he had to try to fix it in the third part of the trilogy. And unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot you could do. Like what was done in The Last Jedi, and that was it, man. I mean, you didn't have a whole lot left to work with. So The Rise of Skywalker, I'm going to give it a very nice grade because of the position they were put in. And the position they were put in was bad, let's be honest. Like, it was tough to come back from The Last Jedi and try to make a coherent movie. And so there were a lot of cool scenes. They definitely made Rey feel like the strongest Jedi, which I actually feel like they had to do. She's going to kill the Emperor. She's going to end the Sith. She has to bring balance. She has to be overpowering. So I didn't really have the problem with that some people did. Yeah, dude, but there were things that I wish they would have done differently. Again, bringing back Palpatine off screen, I felt like was a bad choice. But again, being put in the position that Abrams was put in, you know, who knows what I would have done personally. Or, you know, it's not like I've ever made a movie, but I'm just saying, it's a tough choice. So that's where I'm kind of at with The Rise of Skywalker. So because of that, I'm going to give it a very average grade. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Because the story was not very coherent. A lot of things didn't make sense. I understand the position they were in, though. And so I'm going to be lenient with it and give it a halfway. So ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm at. That is my review for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. The end of the main storyline for Star Wars, supposedly. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, dude. That's my review. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jack with Kaged Nation. Out.